Good morning, everyone. Hi, my viewers. It's me. Welcome to another episode of Lepak with Ant. In my earlier video, alright, I have already given some clues to who is my next guest. He made it to the national team in 1984 and all the way to 1989. And he made another appearance in the late 91 and 92 to 93. In the year of 92 and 93, he was the team captain. Right, in his playing career, he played at a high level at that point of time where Malaysia Cup is very popular, as well in the World Cup qualifier, Asian Cup qualifier, as well as the SEA Games. So let's meet our guest for today. While waiting for my guest to arrive, I'm just enjoying myself with the beautiful morning scenery here we have right in front of me, and that's Pulau Ubin. So come, I think it's time to meet our guest. Let's see, and he's here now, I think. Yes, I think I see him. Yeah, good morning.
Hey, morning Anthony.
Maybe you would like to share with your viewers and how we met at.
Okay, it was 1983 when we all enlisted into national service, and coincidentally, right after our basic training, a lot of so-called football players from every club that represented the clubs before were invited to come to Nisun camp, where SAFSA had his training ground there. Certain so-called sports association of the army, where what you do is only training and tournaments. That's it.
Yeah.
Back then, because why? Because there's always a different batch of groups coming in. So the moment we completed our basic training, the last day, we know that the next day or the next 3 days we posted somewhere else. but we are so lucky. We received a letter from our commandant and said that you've been selected for SAFSTA. You're supposed to report to Sembarang Camp Nisun
Nisun camp,
where
yeah.
the SAFSTA team is training.
Yeah.
So when you hear about that news and you know that you've been selected, right? Then at the back of your mind, you know that there's a senior team there.
Oh,
where
yeah,
the group of Singapore elite footballers was there. People like Fandi Ahmad, the late Razali Alias, Hamza Harun, all the top players were in the senior team.
Yeah.
I remember the first day coming down with our PT kids, and straight away we were called by one so-called Encik, who said, "You new recruits, go up to Trana." And the first day of training was MacRitchie Reservoir Run.
Oh yes, I remember that. I remember the story.
That's the first day of our SAFSA involvement.
Okay. Right. I remember there's one video that you sent to me a couple of days ago, and of course everyone would know he's our coach, the late Hussein Arjuni. Right. Perhaps you could like to share a bit more of the experience that you have about our late coach.
Okay, what we know as a young boy, right, when you come into different phases of your football. I started with combined school, then going to the youth team, and Sunday NS, and we know that there's one of the top coaches in SAFSA, and he's none other than the late Hussein Arjuni. And then we were also excited to know and to learn a lot of things from this guy. The first time we saw him, we were quite shocked because he's a very loud, hot-tempered, but also very kind coach who would ask you and say what you want to learn now. He's very open to say that, hey, you're now into national service, this is the best time to polish your football. And whatever you want to learn, he will bring you through your journey in football.
Wow.
I think if you see at the late Hussein, right, I think I can sincerely say that he's one of my mentor.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the.
He's a guy who can mold you into what you are and what you are capable of. You know, the first training that I had with him was he just asked me to run from one goalpost to another goalpost.
Okay.
Then he just touched my neck for my pulse, and he know what kind of player you are. Are you a sprinter? Are you a midfielder? Or are you a striker? Are you a defender? By the way you run and the way your heartbeat is, that is very so-called non-scientific, which we don't know from other coaches.
Yeah.
And from there he say, Razali, your heartbeat is so much. I know you're not that fast a player, so you're good enough to play in this position. Wow.
Okay.
I was shocked to say, hey, this coach can tell me what's the best position for me to play.
Okay, this is more to the what we have nowadays, the modern, all right, the modern era, the smart science. Yes. So even smart science, right now some coaches do not carry this kind of experience, you know. Yeah.
So what he did was so simple. Okay, he give a ball to you and say, okay, you juggle. The way you juggle, once you stop juggling, then he asks you, do a short pass. The next one he say, do a long pass. Then he will tell you, okay, this is your skill, this is what you can do, this is what you cannot do. I'm so shocked after so long of playing football since our childhood, right?
Yeah.
Nobody correct us in the sense that, hey Razali, this is not the right way to pass. This is not the right way to stop the ball. This is not the right way to run. Wow. So I said, wow, I really need to learn more.
Right.
And what I did was, I go back, tell my parents, don't worry, I'm gonna come into Safsa, even though I don't have to come back, because I know I've got a good mentor that would look after my football career. Good. And not only he does that, he's a very regimented guy.
Yes.
When he wants to be.
I know.
He will tell you what to eat, when to wake up, when to sleep, when to have your longer run, when to have your rest. He will monitor everything that you do in your soccer journey.
Yeah, this is very detailed, I think, from him. Yeah.
Very detailed.
Maybe now we can tell us, the viewers, that how you become a better player and eventually you were good enough to be part of our national team.
You see, Coach Hussein, when he saw you and he knows where you are, and especially when in Safsa we eat, sleep and play football, nothing else for the next 2 years. But along the way, you know, when you have your own coach together with you 24/7, right, there's so many things that you want to learn. You're so excited to learn how he himself as a coach, you know, bringing back the glories of the Malaysia Cup, the Asian Cup, you know, all the World Cup qualifiers. As a player and also as a coach, you would want to learn more from this guy. And towards the end of my so-called football career in Safsa, right, I had a long talk with Hussein, and something that he tell me changed my life forever as a footballer.
Okay, what would that be?
He tell me, Razali, you're still not there yet after 2 years. Although you're getting better as a player, you're being so-called monitored by the national team, and you are into the national second team. But I said, if you want to learn more, if you want to be very valuable to football, you stay in Safsa for another 3 years, 5 years. And by then he say, you'll be a household name. By then people will know you. By then if you go out into the market, even if you don't play football, people still know your name, recognize who you are, and probably your journey will be better. So my question to him was, Habib, or we call him by his nickname.
Nickname Habib, yes.
So I say, Habib, so what do I do here? I said, you do nothing but polish your football, nothing else. I'll guide you. I'll take you as my son.
Oh,
and it really happened. The day I go back to my family and said, I want to sign on in the army. I was shocked. He said, sign on in the army? What you want to do in the army? I said, I do nothing but play football 24/7.
That's the dream life, I think.
That's a dream life. And knowing that that era was Malaysia Cup era.
Yeah.
And before my second year in the army, Hussein was called up as a national coach. And I tell myself, wow, it's a perfect combination and a perfect time to really follow this guy. And I did. And I signed another 3 years to complete the 5 years.
Oh.
And the same period, I was called up in the national team. 85, 84 was in the team. 85, my first SEA game under Hussein Al-Junaid. And as a rookie, I was very, very excited that I'm playing among the best in Singapore football. People like Fandi Ahmad, people like David Lee, people like Dari Papmanadan, people like the late Salim Moin.
Oh yes,
people like Hashim Mosni, the midfield general. Wow. And I'm being 20 years old, getting to learn all this. And I was lucky enough to be in the first 11 in my first SEA Games debut.
Wow.
And I was quite sad. I cried because we lost in the final to Thailand.
Okay, that's 85. That's
in Bangkok.
In Bangkok, yeah,
Yes.
I remember.
And being a rookie, you want so much, you want to learn so much, you want to play so much, and you're so excited to play amongst the established player, and Hussein Al-Junaid, you can't run away from him, you can't hide from him, you can't tell him that this you can't do, that it's always positivity. He will talk to you down one-to-one and say, this is what your strength is, this is what you're capable of. And I know, don't worry. And that time, Thailand has Piapong Puon.
Oh yes.
Top striker in Asia.
Yep.
And I have to mark him the whole day.
Wow.
And Hussein was the one who tell me what type of player he is, the opponent that you are, how you have to learn him, have to understand how his strength and his weakness in order to make your game better. That is the late Hussein Al-Junaid.
Okay. So much details about your experience with the late coach. Right now you are under the employment of the Sports SG. You are the Assistant Director for the Active SG Football Academy. And one thing I would like to know is that what you have learned from our late coach Hussein Al-Junaid, and what are the values that you have learned from him and actually apply to what you are doing right now?
See, there's a lot that I brought forward, or I continue the teaching of late Hussein Al-Junaid, especially the discipline part. Because as a player, there's so much a coach can teach you, there's so much a coach can tell you what to do in the field. But personally, as a player, as a so-called professional player yourself, right? You need to instill all this. Hussein will always tell us, your morning wake up, your morning breakfast, and your preparation towards the training of the day is very important. And once you've done your training, your rest period, the right food to eat, and especially once your training is done, what you need to do in terms of recovery. You know, that period, right? I don't know whether they are still doing it today. We train 3 times a day. Safsa morning run, and at 11 o'clock we'll do our technical abilities. Juggle the ball, we do a lot of football skills, personal skills.
Yeah,
and in the afternoon you will have your team training. And sometimes when the national season is on, I will continue at night.
Wow.
For night session, we go to Jalan Besar all the way from Sembawang to train with the national team.
Wow.
So sometimes it's not only 3, it's 4 trainings a day. And I carry that into today. And in the Active SG Academy, when I have the opportunity to talk to parents or the kids, when I saw that there's potential in him to be somebody, I tell them, you need to instill this discipline. Is the first part of being a better footballer.
Alright, it's more of the discipline.
And when to sleep, when to wake up, what to eat, when to do your own personal studies, and at the same time your sleeping time, very important. Late nights, yes, there will be time for late nights, but that was seldom in my dictionary at all.
Oh yeah.
Because I know tomorrow I need to push myself, and that's where I impart all those so-called discipline which I learned from the late Hussein into the new boys.
Yep.
And the only way to go is, you know, what you want to be, where you want to go after that. And
Right.
and I can recall whatever Hussein tell me, Razali, your 2 years here is not good enough. You need to train more, learn more, and you'll be a better player. And I'm very surprised. There's something that you have learned from him and instructs you. For me, it's all about discipline, dedication. At least once you are disciplined, up the better one. Or what it is. Personally, when you're disciplined, you get your sport ready, your body physically ready, your mind ready for the war or the game that you're going to play. And then after it's your dedication. Dedication to your career, dedication to your lifestyle, dedication to your family, dedication to your career. This is where all those lessons start.
So it's kind of life skills you have actually learned from him and actually applied to today's being assistant director to the football academy. So it's kind of transferable skills, right, for you, and based on the experience that you had and what you learned from our late coach Hussein, and it's actually benefited him quite a lot.
No, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful as a person, as a player, and now as a so-called leader of the next generation of sportsmen that we want to bring. These are the things that you can carry and tell them. Without this, you're nothing. Without this, you won't be able to make this. Without this, don't ever tell yourself you are professional, you are ready for a game.
Okay. Just one liner, like we say to our viewers, and what kind of encouragement that you have for them. Yeah.
I think as a sportsman, you need a lot of ingredients in order to be successful in your career, in order to be successful in your sports. You need all this before even going down to the field.
Yep. So fundamentally, one has to be equipped with the relevant skills that you need in order to be successful. Alright? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you so much, and thanks for watching. Based on the session that I had with Razali just now, I mean, just reflect on about life experience, right? From what you guys heard from him, that he has learned so much from the late coach Hussein Ajuni, and there are so much values that he has learned and he has applied in his today's life, right? To become the assistant director of Sports SG Football Academy. So the thing here is that in life there are also always ups and downs, and we have so many issues arising on our daily lives. Is how we cope and manage the situation. Just like the current situation of the pandemic, which is very disrupting for everybody, not only us Singaporeans but worldwide. Essential life skills can be your savior. So more importantly right now is for everyone to stay safe. Cheers, bye for now.